Okay, so after we put the diffuse map on, that's what we get. Okay, now again, this is kind of how everything works in Lightwave, the black and white values. So if you remember earlier, we put a black and white value on for the transparency. The white value made it more transparent. We put the black and white gradient on for the reflection. The white area allowed more gradient. So the same idea applies here, where we put a black and white image for the bump. The white area makes more bump, the black area less. So we had inverted the layer. I took that same exact measurement and put it on for the diffuse, which is right here. So that means diffuse, which is how much light the surface takes from the scene. There's going to be more light taken where there's white and none taken where there's black. And the result, of course, is this. No light's hitting that space right there. And because it's set to invert, the white area is not black, black's now white. So we're going to turn the invert off. Going to do another render, and look what happens. Now the black areas show up much better. Now all we really want to do is just have a nice little bump on here. But the diffuse value allows us to control how some of that shading works. So if we go into the blending modes, we can set this to something like, multiply. And now instead of it just blocking, it blends a little bit differently with the surface underneath it. And I think additive is going to work pretty well for us. It's going to add to the surface. Yep, there it is. Okay. So just a nice, easy way to work and pull that image out exactly like the bumps. Okay. Now, if we go back to our bump maps, down here under bump map, okay, you can see texture amplitude of 10 with wrap amount 4. Okay. This is a very small image. Now, you could go in with a displacement map, which is going to physically displace this. Unless you're flying up into it, you don't really need to do that. You want to have just a little bit of texture in there just to catch some light. You might even want to take this value down a little bit so the additive still applies, but not quite as much. Okay, and here's another one. Okay, so just not quite as strong that way. Allows you to see the bumps just a little bit more. The other thing we can do is increase the specularity for this. Okay, just like that, but it's going to go across the whole texture. So, what do? I would actually go to the gloss texture and apply that same image map. And look what happens. Now you get a nice gloss straight across there. So watch if I render this now. The white area is going to gloss more, the black area is going to gloss less, and this will actually make those areas shine. Especially this is especially nice when light moves across it. Okay, so it just gives it a really neat, interesting look. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there for right now. We'll pull the specularity back down a little bit. And we're going to go to File, Save All Objects. And that was looking pretty good, but if you remember, that's just with our default light. We haven't done anything to the tip up here. We have no shadows. We have no, other than fractal reflections, we have no environment reflections. So let's move on to one more video, and I will show you how to set up a cool scene for this.